Good morning. KAIT starts its broadcasting day. Each day, KAIT endeavors to present only the finest in entertainment, information, and commercial messages. We're constantly aware of the subject matter of all of our programming. KAIT TV is owned and operated by Cosmos Broadcasting Corporation. Live from KAIT, this is Good Morning Region 8, your first look at today's news, weather, and sports, and farm reports.
Welcome back to Good Morning Region 8. This morning, Jane Holland from the County Extension Office is with us. She was with us last Thursday morning, and Jane, it's good to have you back with us today. And would you like to tell us what you're going to go ahead and cook?
I'm going to cook wild rice frietta today, and this is a recipe that will have different ingredients in it. A lot of things you can prepare in advance and then put it together.
Okay, let's talk about the ingredients.
Okay, first thing I have put in is a tablespoon of reduced fat oil type thing. It's a margarine. Okay. Then it's going to be like a cup of bell peppers. I've already measured them out, so they'll be a little faster. The green ones and also the red, because the red will give a lot more color to things. That's the onions. This one I've got more than a cup, half a cup for that. But we can estimate a lot of that. And then the onions, I've got this as a cup. And then if you will stir them around and let them, yes, with that. And then let them sort of brown and get tender. And then they will be ready. And in this bowl, I'm going to mix 1/4 of a cup of skim milk. It's a 1.5 cups of egg substitute. This is to help reduce the cholesterol level that eggs have in it. So that's to help
and
reduce
also the fat, too.
Right, it does reduce the fat content. And this one doesn't want to open.
Well, this is fun. I love to cook. Okay, now that is the egg.
This will be both of these, yeah. And then I have, this is a wild rice mix. It was bought from a mix because this is easier if you use a solid wild rice. It takes about 60 minutes to cook it, and this takes less than about 10 or 15. So, and I cooked this last night, so it would be a good thing to use if you have leftover rice from supper, that you could make a use of it. And then it takes 1/2 cup of reduced fat cheese. Again, watching the fat and the cholesterol. And it's about 1/2 cup in this.
How many grams of fat do you think that this particular breakfast dish would have?
This particular recipe will have about 4 grams of fat.
Not much at all.
Not much at all. And it has about 125 calories, so that's not too bad for a breakfast.
About 15 minutes, you say, to fix it up?
It takes about 20 minutes for it to cook in the electric skillet. And once those are pretty well and tender, this is just added in. Oh, I forgot to put the mushrooms in.
Now, is this dish good reheated?
Well, I've never tried that, reheating it. And a lot of times egg dishes are not real tasty after they have been cooked.
Right. Well, let's go ahead, and if you would like to get this recipe for the dish, you can write to the address on your screen. That's Craighead County Extension Office, P.O. Box 300, Jonesboro, Arkansas 724-0300. You'll probably want to send a self-addressed stamped envelope, or just send them a fax with the name of the requested recipe. I'm sure they would be more than happy to send it. Their fax number is 870-933-4568. Wonderful.
It should be covered when it's cooking in about 250 to 260 degrees, which means that this could probably also be cooked in an oven. So that most of this could probably be put together the night before and then stuck in the oven while you get ready. Then it will be ready when you get finished.
Oh, great. Well, thank you so much, and we'll be back, and we're going to try this dish in just a few minutes. Welcome back to Good Morning Region 8, and I'm sure you're wondering how we can already taste test this dish. Well, she brought 2. And we are going to do that here in just a few minutes. But first, I want to kind of give you a rundown of how to put this together on full screen. And here we got 1 tablespoon reduced calorie spread, ½ cup of green bell peppers, ½ cup red bell peppers, 1/2 cup of onion, 1½ cup of fat-free, cholesterol-free egg, 1/4 cup skim milk, 1 cup brown and wild rice mix, and 1 small can of mushrooms, 1 cup reduced fat Swiss cheese. Melt the spread in an electric non-stick skillet on medium. Cook peppers and onions in spread until vegetables are crisp and tender. Mix egg product, milk, rice mix, and 1/2 cup cheese. Pour over vegetables. Reduce heat to low. Cook 15 to 20 minutes covered. And it is ready to go.
That was mine. This is my favorite part of the show. I just absolutely love this.
All right.
I know she gave me a real big, a whole spatula worth.
Yeah. All right.
I'm going to
Let you try
this out.
Yeah.
Got to get a little cheese on there, too.
That does seem to make it taste pretty good.
That is really good. And it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to prepare.
Cook, right.
4 grams of fat. Is that what you said?
That's fat.
Once again, I think we
I'm
want
loving
to
it.
pop that address up on the screen.
Yeah, so you can get a
Yeah.
copy of the recipe. You can write to Craighead County Extension Office, P.O. Box 300. That's Jonesboro, Arkansas, 72403-0300. Or give them a fax, 870-933-4568. A quick last look at our weather. Let's take a look and see what we expect to happen today. We are anticipating a lot of cloud cover today. Cool temperatures. Some light rain is expected with a high near 50 degrees.
Be sure to tune in for midday.
K8 News, Good Morning Region 8. Brought to you by Wallace & Owen Supermarkets. KAIT.
Once again today, so it's a treat for you. It's been a treat for the rest of us all month.
Well,
and she has got a wonderful breakfast dish to fix.
I've heard about that, and I've heard about her. Actually, I've talked to her before from the Extension office. I've dealt a lot with them, and very nice people there. But, you know, I didn't eat anything this morning because I knew she was coming, so...
Well, good. So
hopefully she's got some food.
Yeah, I bet you're ready then.
Well, it's time for a look at international news now.
Welcome back to Good Morning Region 8, and this morning Jane Holland from the County Extension Office is with us. Jane, it's good to have you back once again for the, I believe it's the 4th week, and I believe you have a microwave dish for us this morning. Would you want to go ahead and tell us what it is?
Okay, it's a breakfast cobbler, and this one we're going to add fruits primarily to it, but this is going to increase a lot of our fruits. First, it's peaches, and they're already drained, or supposed to be. Okay. And then pears. The halves, but I cut them up so that they will blend better with the peaches. Then I put in a cup of prunes.
Right.
Now, some people don't like prunes, but if you don't, you can use like raisins or dates. But the prunes add a lot of iron to the dish, and a lot of people are low in iron.
Okay. Now, and across the bottom of the screen right now, we also have some of the ingredients there. So if you want to go ahead, those people at home, you want to write those down. Wonderful idea.
Now this I've just added is like a ½ cup of strawberries, but the reason I wanted strawberries added is because it gives color, but it'll also give some vitamin C.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a ½ cup added, but you can add more.
Now, how many fat grams are in this dish?
This dish will have about maybe 4 or less, depending on what the granola that you add to it.
Well, what if... I know there are some ingredients here that you say are lower in fat, like the reduced fat. You can get the regular and it will be just fine.
Right, but it will be more fat to it.
Right.
And there's a cup and a half of this.
And as you can see, it doesn't take very long to fix this, so you just heat it right up. And can you fix this on the stove?
No, I think probably a microwave. You might be able to put it in an oven, but I think the fruit might get a little too cooked. I need to stir this just a tad.
Okay.
And then this actually acts as the topping for it.
Now, if you don't have the granola, is there anything that you
could probably use another type of a cereal,
like an oatmeal or something like that?
Now the oatmeal would might get a little soggier because this is kind of tough.
About like
but you might be able cereal, right? A nutty type of a cereal, and then it cooks in the microwave for 5 minutes.
Well, I want to remind you, if you would like to get this recipe for the dish, you can write to the address that we will have for you in just a minute. And that's at the Craighead County Extension Office, of course. And this is Jane Holland
But I think it's kind of pretty because of the colors that are in it.
Oh, yeah.
And then it cooks for 5 minutes. And it needs to stand for the 2 minute standing is still a cooking time that we don't always think about. We think when it's when the microwave is done, we think it's time to eat. But on a lot of recipes, you have standing time, and that's still cooking time.
Okay. Well, that looks so good, and we can just start that up, I guess, right now. And 5 minutes is the time. So, well, we'll just start it up and see. And I think that just seems like a wonderful breakfast dish, and the kids really like it, I'm sure.
And it's giving them a lot of the fruit that they need. It also will add fiber to your diet, which a lot of people need a lot more fiber. And then with the raisins or the prunes or dates, you're going to add the iron to it, which, especially for children, is a hard thing because a lot of times they don't like the meats and things that have iron in them.
Now, can you substitute for the prunes? I know a lot of people say that.
Well, you can. Well, like raisins, you can, or dates. Or you could leave them out, but you're going to lose your iron content. You could probably use any type of a dried fruit, but since you already have some fresh ones, you may not want a lot of other ones.
Okay, well, I hate to cut you off, but that's all the time we have right now. We'll be right back to taste test this wonderful treat. Welcome back to Good Morning Region 8. Dan will be over here with us in just a second. I think he's miking up over there. And right now we want to go ahead and kind of go over the recipe a little bit. Once again, it's 1 16-ounce can of peaches, 1 16-ounce can of pears, and those are both drained, 1 cup of pitted prune halves, 1/3 a cup of orange juice, 1 1/2 cups of granola, 1 1/2 cup sliced strawberries, vanilla, and low-fat yogurt. And in a 6-quart shallow baking dish, mix fruits and orange juice, top with granola, microwave on high for 5 minutes, which is very, very simple, and top that with yogurt. And if you want this recipe, you can write to the address on your screen. That's Craig County Extension Office, P.O. Box 300, Jonesboro, Arkansas, 72403-0300. You will probably want to send a self-addressed stamped envelope, or just send them a fax with the name of the requested recipe. I'm sure they would be more than happy to send it to you. And their fax number is 870-933-4568, or we will have it on our webpage here, and that's news8 at KAIT8.com. Thank you, Jane.
Would you mind passing me a spoon?
Need a spoon. Hey, I'm here behind the microwave.
He got it.
It smells great, too. It smells wonderful.
Have a taste.
Yeah.
And
it's looking good.
Of course, you're going to get the prunes.
Peaches,
hey,
I love.
Okay, I like them.
Fruit is always good in the morning, right? Fruit
it's
and granola.
Good for you in the morning.
It really is.
Good. Let's put some yogurt on top.
And I really like the prunes. I mean, and you were telling me earlier that all prunes are just dried plums.
Plums. They're dried. Right.
It's just similar to a raisin, only a raisin.
They're smaller.
Dried grapes.
I like it. I like it. Now, what is it? We got some yogurt on there.
Right. It's vanilla yogurt that's put on top.
Oh, it's really good. I like it.
Okay.
Do you think we better take a look at the weather real quick?
Better.
All right. Partly cloudy skies today. Mild temperatures, high of 65. Tonight, mostly cloudy. 50% chance of light rain possible after midnight, low of 44. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and cool. And another slight chance of rain. Extended forecast looking pretty good this weekend, too. So stay tuned throughout the day for further weather updates, and we'll keep you informed of that. In the meantime, I think we're going to enjoy some more food.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow.
From K8 News, Good Morning, Region 8. Brought to you by McDonald's and by Wallace & Owen Supermarkets.
Welcome back to Good Morning Region 8. And today we have with us Jane Holland. You're from the Extension Service here in Craighead County. And what is your official title again?
My official title is Family Consumer Science-4H.
Okay, 1, 2, no.
I have a long title.
Well, it's good to have you here today, and she's going to tell us how to make fruit bruschetta. So,
you want me to just
go ahead, yeah.
Okay, first you need to toast your muffins, and I'm using English muffins, and these have raisins. This will add a little bit more fruit to your diet. And as a general rule, most people do not eat enough fruit. So it has a third of a cup of strawberries. Let's see if we can dump them. And a third of a cup of peaches. They have all been sliced so that they will stir in easier. And let's see, I need a fourth of a cup of...
That is a neat little measuring cup.
This way you can use it with several different things. A fourth of a cup of the
Yogurt, right?
Vanilla flavored. Okay. And then you can slice some bananas and put in. Would you like to do that?
Oh, yeah.
Slice some bananas and put them in.
Okay.
And then it's all mixed together.
We'll just use the table here. It's pretty clean. I'll cut the ends off. Okay.
But we should get 2 to 4 servings of fruit each day, and most people do not do that. And this is to try and encourage us to eat more fruit.
Well, I know I don't. You know what I had for breakfast.
You had pizza.
I sure did.
But anything that is good for other meals can be good for breakfast, and that's a lot of times people think that if it's not a regular breakfast food that it's not good, and that is not true. So anything that they can eat that's good for them will be good. Okay, and then this is scooped on top.
Oh, that looks wonderful.
On this.
Now you have a cinnamon and sugar mixture also, and I believe we have a recipe that maybe we could pop up.
Yes, I think so.
And, okay, 4 English muffins. Raisins are optional. 1 tablespoon of cinnamon sugar mix like we have here. And some fruit. Mix that all together.
And then
you have a tasty... Welcome back to Good Morning Region 8, and we're here this morning with Jane Holland, who is from the Craighead County Extension Service, and she is cooking up something wonderful. And I have to tell you, this morning it's not a breakfast dish, but it is something that you can cook for lunch or dinner, correct?
That's correct.
Or with our shifts.
Oh, yeah, and this is lunch for me.
And this is, we're using turkey that, like if you had leftover from Thanksgiving, but this was frozen turkey, and it needs to be used within 2 or 3 days if you kept it in the refrigerator. So if you still got it in the refrigerator now, it's not safe to use. But if it's in the freezer, you've got 3 months to use it.
Okay.
Now, you say if it's in the refrigerator, how long do you have?
You have 3 to 4 days.
Oh, really?
And so already now it's too late to use it because it's going to be spoiling and can cause food poisoning.
That's provided that you cooked it on Thanksgiving, though.
That's right.
I just cooked one the day before yesterday.
It will be okay for 3 days.
I'm a little late, I guess. Behind the time.
That's okay. And this one, I've already put in the oil. Well, instead of using oil, though, we've used fat-free Italian dressing, which gives some seasoning, but no fat. Then the vegetables have been added so that they could be cooked, and I have already added the salt so that it can blend in with it.
And those ingredients are on the screen, so get a pen and paper and write those down.
Okay, and then I'm going to add tomatoes. It says 2 cups or 2 large. Well, this is 2 cups, and it was 1 large tomato. I did it at home and used 2, and I had so much it hardly fit in the skillet, so you couldn't turn it. You want to heat it just enough that the turkey gets warmed through and through. That's to make sure that you kill off any kind of bacteria that have started to grow.
Now, what if, like my wife and I, she loves tomatoes, I don't like tomatoes.
You can leave them out on your half.
Is there anywhere to compromise? Another vegetable that might go well with it instead of tomato?
Well, I don't think so much because the tomato adds a lot of color, but too, it's also giving you a lot of vitamin C that you would not be getting as much vitamin C in it.
Well, actually, cooked tomatoes, I can handle them, but I'm sure nobody out there cares about do I like tomatoes or not.
But it's, it's a pretty dish. It gives you a lot of color. And it will be served over pastas, which is giving you a bread dish. This has about 7 grams of fat.
That was my next question. How many fat grams? I know there are a lot of
that's not an awful lot of fat. And it does have a good deal of sodium content, and that is from a lot of times from the salt that was added, but also from the dressing, because your dressings have a lot of sodium added to them.
Now, Jane, I've always heard that it is true that salt makes you hold water. That's correct, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So it does, and if people
have
to
do everything in moderation. So yes, Dan, that's your problem. No, I'm kidding.
And they recommend too that people, if they have high blood pressure, to try and limit their salt. Americans have a tendency to eat almost twice as much salt as we really need.
Now, how can you limit your salt with this?
Well, you can leave out the salt that I added.
Oh, okay.
And that will cut a lot of your sodium, and just use the fat-free dressing. That gives some.
Well, it looks good and it smells good.
Well, I hope it's going to taste good.
I think that's what...
Now, we put this over pasta, right? And you've
Right,
already
and
cooked
I've already
that,
cooked
and
the
it's
pasta.
ready to go.
Right,
And
so it will be ready to eat. And on top of that, just before serving, I will add Parmesan with parsley to add some more flavoring to it.
okay.
So once again, about how long does it take to prepare the whole meal?
The cooking time is about 3 to 5 minutes.
Hey.
So the
Wow,
chopping,
quick too.
you're chopping, what you're going to be cutting is the turkey and the tomatoes because your vegetables already frozen.
Well, thank you so much, Jane, and we will be back right after this to sample some of this wonderful dish.
Indeed, we will.
Welcome back to Good Morning Region 8, and it smells wonderful in here. And Dan, if you don't want those tomatoes, you can always pick them out because I love tomatoes. But right now, we're going to...
Watch this. This is for you, honey, if you're watching.
That's honey is his wife.
Oh.
Here's the recipe right now. 2 tablespoons of Italian dressing, 16 ounces of vegetables, 2 cups chopped turkey, 1 teaspoon salt, 2 cups of tomatoes, 4 cups of cooked noodles, 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, 2 tablespoons of parsley, and cook the vegetables in dressing until crisp and tender. Stir in turkey, salt, and tomatoes. Cook 3 minutes. Spoon over pasta. So very easy.
Very
and
simple.
Wonderful. And you can also, if you have any ideas for Good Morning Region 8, please let us know. Send your ideas to Good Morning Region 8, care of KAIT, P.O. Box 790, Jonesboro, Arkansas 72403. Or you can email us at news8KAIT8.com. And also the recipes that Jane's been giving, they're on the web page. So if you miss them, you can always
check it out.
To our web page. And
yeah, please write in. We've got we've got the address, we've got the email, and we want to have correspondence with you. So send us your ideas and suggestions. Send us anything. Hey.
And Jane will be back next Thursday, correct?
Thank you very much for coming, and thank you for the food.
Now, Dan, tell us a little bit about the weather.
I got to do the weather.
Yes, you do.
We're expecting about a high of 48 right now, 40 degrees under partly cloudy skies, but decreasing clouds today, high of 48 once again, westerly wind, changing to probably the northwest, about 10 miles per hour for tonight. Fair and colder, northwest wind, 10 to 15 miles per hour, and a low of 30 degrees. Those northwest winds are going to bring us to cooler temperatures for a couple of days. Mostly sunny tomorrow, breezy and colder. Winds continuing from the northwest, 10 to 20 miles per hour. A high of 40 and a low of 25. So it's going to look like a nice day. It's just going to feel a little colder than what it may seem like it should. So
you hear me chomping over here.
Hear you chomping over there. But it should be a pleasant day today anyway. Besides, so let's eat some food. And hopefully, we have another fork?
I've got another one under here.
Or can I just slurp my pasta?
That might be kind of funny.
No comment.
But it's so funny because every time Jane comes, everyone from behind the scenes that you don't see gets to chow down with us, and we're not the only ones that get the food. They come back in here and get them a plate as well. But be sure to tune in for midday. That's all the time we have for today.
We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
From K8 News, Good Morning Region 8. Brought to you by McDonald's and by Wallace & Owen Supermarkets.
Welcome back to Good Morning Region 8. Joining us this morning is Jane Holland from the Craighead County Extension Service. And as everybody is getting ready for the holidays, one thing that is definitely on everyone's list is food. And she has a no-bake fruitcake for us this morning. Jane, how do we put this together?
Well, one thing, this is something that's good to work with children, and this is a good time to work with kids in the kitchen. It calls for crushed graham crackers, and if you can put them in a Ziploc bag, then a child can crush them and you don't have a big mess.
Also gives your kids something to
do while you're doing
Right.
something else that may be a little bit more dangerous. I have already started the melting the chocolate and the butter.
Smells good too, I might add.
And it's the milk and also the butter, some sugar in it for the sweetening, and one other thing I put in, the butter, the milk, and the chocolate chips.
Chocolate chips
are in there. And in the bowl, you're going to put in graham cracker crumbs.
Okay.
And then I've chopped these glazed cherries, which will add color, but they also give us a little bit of fruit and a little bit of extra sweetener. They can be added and stirred in. And then also you mix in your nuts.
Almonds.
I'm using almonds, but you can use like English walnuts, or you can use pecans, or nuts that you might prefer over some of these others.
Right.
And if you mix them in, then they sort of coat.
Okay.
And then that will mix it in so that they blend better in the with the chocolate and things.
Now, what do we need to add next?
Now we're going to pour this in.
Okay, I'll let you have that.
Okay, and it's to be poured in and mixed and stirred around. Let me put that back over there. And then after it has mixed in here, you have hopefully already covered your pan with aluminum foil, and then you set it in there.
Okay.
And then it is pressed in, and that's why you want a top so you can get over it so you don't burn your hands. But again, a child can do the mixing after you have poured it in. They can mix, and this gives them feeling a part of holiday cooking. And most kids like to get in the kitchen and to work with mom, but sometimes mom feels like that they're in a dangerous place.
In the way, under their feet.
Right, and so if you can find things that they can do that is not dangerous, and like this, they can move to another table while you're working someplace else. And it's a little easier for them to do this without a lot of supervision, because it's not something that can really hurt them.
And it looks pretty. Now, to be honest with you, I'm kind of scared of fruitcake. The fruitcake my grandmother always had never was very good, but this looks really good.
Well, I think that's one thing. This one will appeal more to children because it has the chocolate flavor, which most children like. And because the fruitcake can be kind of dry and not taste real well to children. And that's why this one is one I think that children will like. But you can put it in and then just sort of spread it around. And then take your aluminum foil and press it in. You can also add extra cherries to the top and set them on for more color. Right. And also some children will want to pick these off and eat them.
Of course. The most interesting thing on there.
On there, right. And you can add like the sugared pineapples and other fruits like that.
Basically anything you'd want to put on
Right. This does have raisins in it. If you wanted to put dates in it instead of raisins, you can do that
and then you just fold the top over and press it down?
Right. And then press it in. And then it needs to sit in the refrigerator for about 2 hours.
Okay.
So that it can get hardened.
You've got it all together, and real quick, if you'll show us the finished product there, we can get it in the camera shot here.
Okay. And this is what it looks like when it's finished.
Okay.
And but it will have a, it's where they can pick it up and eat it by hand too, and that makes it a lot easier.
Thanks so much, Jane, for coming in this morning. And if you have an idea for Good Morning Region 8, let us know. You can send your ideas to Good Morning Region 8, care of KAIT, P.O. Box 790, Jonesboro, Arkansas, 72403, or email us at K8 at KAIT8.com. And we'll have a forecast for you coming up after the break. Stay with us. And welcome back to Good Morning Region 8. We are here with Jane Holland, who just fixed us a really good-looking fruitcake. And we have a recipe to show you real quickly. If you would like to jot this down, you need 4 ounces of chocolate chips, 1 stick of margarine, 1 tablespoon of milk, a half a cup of sugar, 1/3 cup of cherries, 2/3 cups of sliced almonds, 2.5 tablespoons of raisins, and 1 package of graham crackers. Line the cake pan with foil, chop your cherries, break your crackers into a bowl, add the cherries, melt your chips, and your margarine and milk over a low heat. Add raisins and almonds to the cracker mixture. Pour chocolate sauce over a cracker mixture as well. Put it into, mix it well, spoon into the cake pan, press more cherries on top, cover with foil, and refrigerate it for 2 hours. Pull it out, slice it up, serve it, and it looks like this, and it's got chocolate in it, my favorite. I'm going to eat. Dan's going to recap the weather.
It's great that on a morning show we get to eat stuff like this.
Yeah.
But it's really good, actually. Well, cloudy and cold today, a slight chance of drizzle, possible flurries, snow flurries, light snow into the evening, and a high of 38 today. Cloudy and cold tonight with a low of 27 and still a chance of light snow. Maybe some fruitcake, too.
That's all of our time. Be sure to tune in for midday. Looks good.
From K8 News, Good Morning, Region 8. Brought to you by McDonald's and by Wallace & Owen Supermarkets. KAIT, Good Neighbors.
Welcome back to Good Morning Region 8, and with us this morning is Jane Holland from the Craighead County Extension Service. And Jane's been with us before, and Jane's good to have you back.
Thank you.
And you're going to make breakfast dishes for us in the month of January.
That's right. And this today we're going to do is a stuffed French toast, and it's regular French toast, and you cut the pieces in about 1.5 slices, and then you put another slice in it. This is where you're going to stuff it. What it needs to be stuffed with is it takes 2 eggs.
And these are just regular eggs. I know before you use the egg beaters. So can you use those?
You can use these too. Yeah, and here. This is 2 tablespoons of sugar, a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and then 2/3 cup of milk. This is what the bread will be put in so that it will make a sort of a crust type thing, but it also gives you some of the protein that you need in your diet. And this needs to be well mixed.
Okay. Now, how many grams of fat does this have?
This has about 3 grams of fat, so it's not real large in fat, and it's going to give you a lot of the fruit you need, because this is 1 kiwi that has been sliced, a 1/2 cup of peaches, and a 1/2 cup of strawberries.
All right. Well, that looks good.
Then 1 banana.
And you cut that up?
And you cut it up into slices.
Okay.
And it will fit in there, and it may be kind of full. You want to make sure, though, that the fruit does not get into the egg mixture, because you will be heating the eggs that's on the outside on the skillet, but it will not be getting to the fruit, and you don't want the eggs because of the scare of salmonella.
Right, okay.
So you want to mix this.
Now, this would probably be good if you were having company over for the holidays or just any time, really.
Right, and it's quick. And you can use fresh fruit, or you can use canned or frozen. Too, there's like a tropical fruit that comes in a can, and it works real well. And that way you just have one thing to put in.
You just
I've done that too. But you just put it in.
Okay.
Let's put a little bit of banana in for those who like bananas. And
now, if you don't like one of these fruits, I'm sure
you can change to something else, and you can try some others. You want to hold it together. You need to take your fork out, and you dip each side, and then you put it on the skillet. I usually try to get this to not have all the eggs stuck, because I don't like it real yucky. And then you heat it.
Oh, okay.
And then as it heats, and it's going to cook the egg so that it will be safe to eat. And then you can sprinkle it with powdered sugar, and then use syrup on top, or you can put more fruit on top and use it as it is.
Okay. So this just sounds like a wonderful dish to cook up, and you've already got all of this stuff already. Now, let's go ahead and make some more up. And everyone around here just loves Jane coming in and showing us all these wonderful dishes and everything. And I think for the month of February, you're going to even do some heart-related.
Right, heart-related, because February will be Heart Month, and they're working on the safety of heart and improving your health with it.
So every Thursday, make sure you tune in to Jane.
And take it out if you don't.
and once again, reminding those out there not to get the egg mixture on the fruit.
Because you don't want to take that chance of getting the salmonella.
Now, see, I got salmonella before.
And you know you don't want it anymore.
You do not want that. And actually, I got it from raw cookie dough, so.
But anything that has raw eggs and you don't really want to eat. You could probably even stuff it afterwards, but then your fruit wouldn't have a chance to get heated.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Jane. We'll be back to try this breakfast dish right after this. welcome back to our second half, and the last segment, I guess.
The last
Good
segment.
morning, Region 8, and we have
I'm strung over here with my cord.
the stuffed French toast is still going. It'll take a
It smells. It really smells delicious. Now, I was asking about the salmonella you were talking about earlier, and I wasn't clear, so there might be somebody else out there that may not understand that the salmonella that is with raw eggs, the salmonella poisoning or bacteria that's on it, if you put it on the fruit, then the fruit is less likely to cook, and the egg on the fruit is less likely to cook, therefore more likely to get salmonella poisoning.
Now,
does that make sense? Hopefully it does.
Sure does.
Okay.
Now we're going to take a look at the recipe. Once again, we have 1 loaf of French bread, 1 sliced kiwi, 1/2 cup strawberries, 1 banana, 1/2 cup of peaches, 2/3 cup skim milk, 1 or 2 eggs, 1/2 teaspoon vanilla, and 2 tablespoons of sugar. And mix your egg mixture and set it aside and cut a groove in the bread. Mix fruits and spoon into the groove and dip your bread in the egg mixture. Cook in non-stick skillet until lightly brown. Sprinkle with powdered sugar and top it with syrup.
It looks really good.
Quick,
yeah, I'll definitely try some. Quick look at the weather. We'll see a high of 42 today, rainy, wet today, and tomorrow as well, but extended forecast looks pretty good. Cold temperatures, but clearer skies, so cloudy skies.
Be sure to tune in for midday.
All right.
From K8 News, Good Morning, Region 8. Brought to you by McDonald's and by Wallace & Owen Supermarkets. KAIT. Good neighbors you can turn to.
With me today is Jane Holland, and you've been here several times. Actually, we were talking earlier that you've been coming on Thursday since October. So quite a while, and we have a wonderful recipe you have for us today,
and I hope it's something that they can enjoy.
Yes,
it's not real sweet, but you can add the optional topping, which will make it sweeter. To start with, we're going to use 1 cup of white flour. Then you're going to use whole wheat. Using another cup of whole wheat. Using whole wheat will actually give you more fiber content, which we need to do. It's 1/4 of a cup of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda or powder. I can't remember which one. One of them's 1.5 of the baking powder.
1.5
baking powder, and 1/2 a teaspoon of soda, and then 1/2 a teaspoon of salt. And these are just mixed together. These are all your dry ingredients.
Very easy then.
Very easy to do.
So far.
And you want to mix them well so that your leavening agents are spread throughout, so that it will rise evenly.
Okay.
Then you're going to add apples, and these have kind of turned, but they will still be fine, and they're shredded.
Oh, do you just grate those?
I just grated them with a grater, and then we're adding 1 cup of cheddar cheese.
Okay.
Now these are mixed with this, and one reason you want to mix them now is because then they get coated with the flour, and then you won't have dry spots and more liquid spots.
Okay.
And if you want to continue doing that.
Thank you. I would love to.
And then let's see, I need this. Do I have a fork over there, please? I kind of stuck it out of the way. Way over.
Way up here. I'm going to reach
far end. This has 1 egg, and I usually will whip it a little bit first, and then you're going to add 2 tablespoons of oil.
Okay.
And then a 3/4 cup of buttermilk.
And you mix this in a separate bowl.
In a separate bowl.
Okay. Make sure.
And you want it mixed pretty well.
All this together.
Covered, right.
Here. So, now how many fat grams?
This has 12. 5 of them are saturated, which we should have no more than 30% of our diet should not be of any more fat than 30% of our diet each day. 10% in saturated fat, 10% in the unsaturated, and things like that.
And that's something we all need to be aware of and try to learn every day.
And our saturated fat comes primarily from, it's not the best type of fat that we want.
And so we're going to mix that together.
Right, then we're going to mix these 2 together.
Okay. We have about a minute left. And our web address is at the bottom of the screen. It's www.kait8.com. And we would love for you to check out our website. All of the recipes, or most of the recipes, I believe, are on that website from the previous times that you've been
well,
here,
good.
and just a wonderful. I'm sure that they can call you. What's the number there?
The number is 933-4565.
933-4565, and you can get a hold of Jane there. And what else do we do? Just real quick.
Okay, now it's ready to be spooned into your dish, and it's a 9 by 9 by 2.
Okay.
And it has been had a little bit of grease, or I use a non-fat spray, and then a little bit of flour.
Okay.
And then
we'll
this
finish
is
this up, Jane. I hate to cut you off, but we're running out of time. We'll be back right after this. 37 degrees, 656. Welcome back to Good Morning Region 8. And I'm trying to clean myself off. I think I have flour all over myself. But first of all, we're going to go ahead and go over the recipe real quick. 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of whole wheat flour, 1/4 cup sugar, 1½ teaspoon baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of salt once again. No, just 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 cup cheddar cheese, 2 golden delicious apples shredded, 3 cups of, or 3/4 cups of buttermilk, 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 1 large egg, and we've already told you what you need to do with those. Make those in 2 different bowls, mix those up, and
mix them together.
And bake on
375 degrees.
Okay, Dan has to take a look at the weather.
All right, thanks. Still some light rain throughout Region 8. Closer to home, at least in Jonesboro, some light rain. 37 degrees, 100% humidity. Barometric pressure falling from 3001. We're expecting a high of only 40. Some more rain throughout the day, unfortunately. There is a winter weather advisory for some parts of northwest Arkansas, so be careful.
All right, bye-bye.
Have a great day.
From K8 News, Good Morning Region 8. Brought to you by McDonald's and by Wallace & Owen Supermarkets. KA.
All right, and welcome back to Good Morning Region 8. And today we have Jane Holland with us once again. And you have eggs in a tortilla to fix for us today, I believe.
Right. Well, first I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of water in this, and then you can put the amount of pepper that you want it, and then you can beat eggs.
Or can I ask them in there? Because...
And I'm going to do the shell. This is covered with a vegetable oil, and it's just rubbed on it. And then you slice it with a knife in 8 about 2-inch cuts around, so that it will lay on your on the bowl. But I found doing it on a muffin tin turned upside down, they do much better. But I said that's a hint that you find when you try something.
Oh, wow.
And then it just lays on this, and you cook it for about 20 minutes, and then it will make the mold, and then that's what you're going to serve the eggs in.
And throughout this interview, we have the recipe popping up on the screen. You'll see that, and I'll give you a chance to write it down out there for all the viewers.
And this has the onions. It has some onions in it, some red bell peppers, which add a lot of color. And then the ham. You will notice that we haven't added any salt, because ham has enough salt that you really wouldn't have to.
Right.
And if you're watching the sodium content, that helps a tremendous amount to do that.
Now, that is a different kind of ham, too. I heard you talking about
I used turkey ham because that makes it a little more lean, and it has less fat in it. So
about how many fat grams is in it?
This has about 13, but there's like 3 that are saturated fat, and that's primarily from like the eggs or from the ham. You can cut a lot of the fat and the cholesterol if you use the fat-free egg substitute. But I used eggs this morning because that's what I had at home.
Now, what else am I supposed to be doing
Okay, now
over
we can pour this in here.
Okay.
And then this cooks, and we're going to let it sort of, this way the eggs and all is in the one thing, and it's...
So it's fairly easy.
Right, and it's stirred gently so that the bottom, when it cooks, you pull it to the top. And then the raw eggs go to the bottom so that they can continue to cook, so that it will be healthy to eat and safe, because of the salmonella we don't want.
Okay, and those ingredients are up on the side of the screen, and as Jane goes through there and mixes that around some. We'll go ahead and read that off. 1 cup of red pepper, 4 ounces of ham or turkey, 2 green onions, and salsa and cheddar cheese. And do you use sharp cheddar, Miles?
It doesn't matter, and you can use the fat-free. You don't even have to put the cheese on it if you don't want it.
And that's at the end.
And that's at the end. You put it on as you're getting ready to serve it and eat it. And the sauce is the same way, because some people may not like sauce on eggs, so you can leave it off. You can also put mushrooms in it and things like that. You can put things that you like in it. To it, and but I said I think it's when it's pretty, it appeals more to our eyes, and we like to eat it that way.
No, I know for my husband, it really doesn't matter about whether it appeals to your eyes. It's about whether it appeals to your stomach.
That's the way it is with a lot of men. But if it looks good, then they're more apt to try things if they don't. And that's one thing we want to see, if it'll look pretty in the containers.
Okay, and there are those ingredients once again up on your screen, and see how pretty that is. It's just a lovely red and greens, and now you did have onions in these.
Right, they're green onions.
Now, and also I wanted to ask you about the substitutes. I believe that you
yes, it would be 1.5 cups of the egg substitute, which would cut your fat and cholesterol. You could, if you wanted to, leave out the meat, which would cut a lot of the fat and cholesterol that you would be getting too.
Well, we have an address for you all out there. If you would like to have this recipe, you can go to our website at www.kait8.com, and we will be back with more on Good Morning Region 8 right after this. All right, and welcome back to Good Morning Region 8.
She's just cooking up a story. Well, that looks good.
Dan was playing behind the the plant.
Playing Army.
You can't see him. He was camouflaged.
Yes.
There's
All right.
Well,
this
really
looks
good.
wonderful.
All right.
And if you want to put some cheese and some salsa.
I do.
We have cheese. We have salsa.
That
cheese
is certainly
and
to
salsa.
my liking.
I think those go well together.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat. I like this.
This looks good.
So very healthy breakfast
It
meal.
can be pretty healthy, but it's real quick too. It's one thing that.
Okay, which one?
And
That's great for bachelors out there. Any bachelors out there?
And my kids like to help slice and chop, so that gets them involved in the kitchen.
Kind of fun too. Well, we're looking at fair skies right now, 43 degrees and a southwest wind about 6 miles per hour. Temperatures around the region still kind of cool. 33 is the coolest. 45 now, the warmest in Memphis and Batesville. Looking at partly cloudy skies. It's a pretty nice day today, though.
All right.
Better tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow. Be sure to tune in for midday.
And have a great day, everyone.
From K8 News, Good Morning, Region 8. Brought to you by McDonald's and by Wallace & Owen Supermarkets.
And welcome back to Good Morning Region 8. Well, February is Heart Health Month, and Jane Holland is here with me and all of us today to show us a recipe that's not only good for your heart, but it seems very easy as well. And if you will, tell us what you'll be making today, Jane.
Okay, we're going to make baked catfish, because in Arkansas we like fried fish, but we do need to think of our heart, and baking it will cut a lot of the fat content.
Wow.
So we're going to use yellow cornmeal.
Okay.
One reason you're using yellow is it has the coloring, so things will look brown and crispy.
Right. Okay.
And then this is breadcrumbs dried. I used croutons and then crushed them, and then that worked real well. Half a teaspoon of paprika and a teaspoon of chili powder. And this is your garlic and your pepper together.
So you mix those up together?
And then this is it for the coating.
Wow. Okay. Very easy.
Very easy. And after this is coated, then you're going to take your fish, and this is a fat-free ranch dressing, and you coat it, the fish on all sides. A lot of times I coat it and then put it in the bowl. And then you cover the fish with the crust.
Now,
and this is going to make it look crunchy.
Well, I understand that your children do not like fish, and they love this recipe.
And they like this recipe.
And then you just put it over in your broiler.
Right, and the broiler, this pan should be sprayed with the non-fat sticking spray. And as I told you, you put water in the bottom part of this so that when the fat drips through, it's easier to clean.
Okay. And you can also cook this in like a different type of oven as well, like a
convection oven or and in a broiling oven, and it takes about 15 to 18 minutes, and that depends on the thickness of your fish, because the thicker it is, the longer it's going to take.
That sounds really quick, though. Well, how many grams of fat is in this recipe?
It has 2 grams of fat. 2 grams of fat, and there's no saturated fat in it, so it is a real healthy thing for fat content. Using garlic powder instead of garlic salt cuts down on your sodium content, and so again that helps with your heart.
Now, what type of other foods would be good to eat along with this? I know sometimes you want a salad and things like that.
A salad would be good, like using steamed broccoli would be good. We always think of fish, you think of coleslaw.
Right.
So that would be good with it too. But instead of French fries, have like a baked potato. Because the fries are going to add the fat that you're trying to get rid of. So those are things that you look at.
And also, I guess, the mayonnaise and things. And what can you substitute?
Well, a lot of times your coleslaw, you can use like a vinegar and a little bit of sugar and things like that instead of using the mayonnaise. But now we have so many fat-free things that you can use those too, and that helps.
Well, tell me, who is at most risk of having heart problems?
Most of the time it's people who are overweight, and then also smokers have a higher risk, and then too you have people in their heredity. If it runs in your family, you have more of a tendency. It's recommended for adults to have their cholesterol checked, and a safe level is 200 or below. And also that's one thing we need to look at.
Now, I know most people know what to look for if they have heart problems, but what would you tell those people that don't have them to look out for? I mean, when taking out of their heart, what preventative steps can they take?
Stopping smoking would be one thing. To lower their weight if they're overweight, and then keep it at that area.
All right. Thank you so much, Jane. And we're going to be back here in just a minute. Then we'll have a look at your local forecast coming up. Welcome back to Good Morning Region 8, and Dan's enjoying his fish over there, and
no bones.
It's boneless. Okay. Well, if you would like information about the recipes that we're doing each week in Heart Month, and you can come to our website at www.kait8.com, and it'll all be there for you, and find out how you can get other recipes as well there.
Yeah, a lot of recipes.
Yeah.
And we'd like to thank Jane, of course. We'd like to take this time to give her a special thank you for coming. She's always up here so early and cooking up these meals for us, for me, and for everybody, actually. And so we really appreciate it, and thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
And the fish is good, actually, this early in the morning. And what kids don't like fish? They need to eat fish. Brain food. Partly cloudy today and cool with a high of 48, northwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, a low of 35. Fair and cold with a light northerly wind. Tomorrow, we're going to warm up a bit. We'll see partly cloudy skies, warmer with a southwesterly wind, around 10 miles per hour, a high of 55 and a low of 35. And the 5-day forecast warming up by the weekend, but a chance of rain again by Sunday.
All right, be sure to tune in for midday.
And we'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Have a great day.
From K8 News, Good Morning Region 8, brought to you by McDonald's, R&R Farm Equipment, and by Wallace & Owens Supermarkets. KAIT. Good neighbors you can turn to.